Long ago, in the peaceful kingdom of Kapilavastu, a young prince named Siddhartha Gautama lived surrounded by luxury and comfort. His father, King Suddhodana, wanted to protect him from the harsh realities of life, believing that sheltering Siddhartha would ensure his happiness. But destiny had another plan. One day, Siddhartha would step outside the palace walls and encounter 4 profound sights that would forever transform his heart and lead him on a spiritual quest. These 4 encounters became the turning point that changed Siddhartha's path into the journey of the Buddha. Inside the palace, Siddhartha enjoyed music, gardens, fine food, and constant entertainment. Every desire was fulfilled before it even arose. Yet, despite being surrounded by abundance, Siddhartha often felt an emptiness, a quiet yearning he could not explain. His father thought this longing could be healed with more pleasures, but Siddhartha's heart sought truth. It was only a matter of time before his curiosity led him beyond the golden walls. The king allowed Siddhartha to go outside, carefully arranging the streets so he would see only beauty. But fate had different plans. As Siddhartha rode in his chariot, he saw something shocking. A frail old man, bent with wrinkles, trembling with each step, barely able to walk. Siddhartha had never seen old age before. He turned to his charioteer, Channa, and asked, "What is this?" Channa replied, "This is old age, and it comes to all." Siddhartha was shaken. For the first time, he realized that youth and beauty would fade, and no one could escape aging. This truth pierced his heart, planting the first seed of wisdom that the palace could never hide. Back in the palace, Siddhartha's mind could not rest. The image of the old man haunted him. He thought, if even the strongest and most beautiful must grow weak, then what is the purpose of clinging to youth? This reflection opened a crack in his once sheltered world. The illusion of endless pleasure began to fade. Siddhartha realized that life was not eternal joy, but a fragile journey, destined to decline. Yet his heart yearned to understand more. Fate was preparing him for the second great encounter. On another outing, Siddhartha saw a man coughing violently, his body twisted in pain. His skin was pale, his breath ragged, his eyes filled with suffering. "What is wrong with him?" Siddhartha asked. Channa answered, "He is sick, and illness can strike anyone, rich or poor." Siddhartha felt deep compassion, realizing that health could vanish without warning. No wealth or palace wall could protect against disease. The truth of suffering became clearer. Life was not just about comfort, it carried unavoidable pain. Siddhartha's heart grew heavy, but also more determined to seek answers. That night, Siddhartha pondered, if sickness comes for all, then even my loved ones, my wife and child, will one day suffer. The thought filled him with sorrow, yet it also deepened his compassion for all beings. He realized that suffering was universal. His sheltered life felt like a fragile bubble, ready to burst at any moment. Siddhartha began to see that true peace could not come from wealth or pleasures, but from understanding the nature of life itself. The second seed of awakening had been planted. On his next journey outside the palace, Siddhartha saw a funeral procession. Men carried a lifeless body wrapped in cloth, followed by weeping family members. He asked Channa, "Why is this man so still?" Channa replied, "He has died." Death comes for everyone, kings and beggars alike. Siddhartha was shaken to his core. If death is the end for all, then what meaning does life hold? The realization of mortality struck him deeply. The third encounter revealed the ultimate truth. No one can escape death. Back at the palace, Siddhartha could not eat, sleep, or laugh as before. He saw through the illusion of permanence. Youth, health, and life itself were fleeting. This truth filled him with both sorrow and urgency. He thought, if all ends in death, is there not a way to overcome suffering? Is there not a higher truth beyond birth and death? Siddhartha's spirit burned with the need to seek liberation. The comfort of the palace now felt like chains, holding him from the truth. On another outing, Siddhartha saw a serene man dressed in simple robes, carrying only a bowl. Unlike the others, this man's face was calm, radiant, and free from fear. Siddhartha asked, "Who is he?" Channa answered, "He is an ascetic, one who renounces worldly pleasures to seek truth." Siddhartha was inspired. Here was someone who faced life's suffering not with despair, but with courage and peace. The ascetic symbolized hope, a path beyond old age, sickness, and death. This final encounter lit the flame of Siddhartha's great renunciation. Siddhartha returned to the palace transformed. The four encounters had shattered his illusions. He saw that wealth and pleasure could not protect against suffering. He realized that true freedom could only be found by seeking enlightenment. That night, he looked at his sleeping wife and newborn son with deep love, yet he knew he must leave. His quest was not just for himself, but for all beings trapped in the cycle of suffering. With a heavy heart but clear determination, he prepared for the greatest journey of his life. One silent night, Siddhartha mounted his horse, Kanthaka, with Channa by his side. He rode beyond the palace walls, leaving behind the life of a prince. At the edge of the forest, he removed his jewels and fine clothes, cutting his hair as a symbol of renunciation. Siddhartha donned the simple robe of an ascetic and sent Channa and Kanthaka back. Alone, he stepped into the wilderness, ready to search for truth. The four encounters had guided him to this moment, the first step toward becoming the Buddha. The story of the four encounters reminds us that suffering, aging, sickness, and death are universal truths. Yet it also shows that beyond suffering lies the possibility of awakening. Siddhartha's journey teaches us that facing life honestly can lead to compassion, wisdom, and liberation. What began with four simple encounters became the foundation of a timeless path, inspiring millions for over 2,500 years. The boy who once lived in luxury became the Buddha, the enlightened one. His story continues to guide us to seek peace beyond suffering,